Awaken Cohort.
And welcome back to another episode of Starfleet Command, Orion Pirates Plus. I'm Lieutenant Commander Turek of Heavy Cruiser Jesus Predatorcon, as we continue our campaign in what will most likely be the Klingon Empire. And last time, well, we've been just sort of puttering around, did a couple of missions, particularly one somewhat difficult shipyard assault, which we managed to actually capture all the shipyards, despite the very best efforts of our allies. But we are trying to save up a little bit more cash. We want to get ourselves into probably at least a dreadnought-sized ship, as well as most likely going into getting a station or two for this incredibly long journey into Klingon territory. This is going to be, well, we did it once before with the Mirak versus the Romulans, but this will be interesting. So let's set out into space and continue to attempt to make prestige. And then we see 10 patrols, an excellent way to begin your day. A straight-up battle. No muss, no fuss, no complicatedness, no trying to capture multiple starbases or anything. Just you and the enemy. So let's get ourselves up to speed to see what we can do. Waiting for the shields to get fully charged. There they are. They take about 4 points of power in order to actually use, and we will slow down slightly so that we can actually prepare a Wild Weasel shuttle, because odds are, well, we run into the Romulans quite a bit, and they are armed with lots of plasma torpedoes, even more than us. Their frigates were better, well, almost as well endowed with plasma torpedoes as we are. Let's pick up the speed of time as we go hunting for the enemy. There they are, and we have, according to the fleet screen, a KR. So this will be a Romulan D7. Basically, the Klingons sold them a D7, or at least the designs to it, and they built it in their own image, complete little bird motifs, and more importantly, twin plasma torpedoes. Now, he's only got twin Gs, so that tells us that we're actually a level above him, because we back our twin Gs up with 8 phaser 1s, whereas he backs his G up with 3 phaser 1s and 4 phaser 2s. Phaser 2s, of course, being terrible in every single possible conceivable way. So let's set our ECM up just a little bit, and also some shield reinforcements so they can't hurt us too badly. There's also a Orion Pirates heavy cruiser out over here, which we are currently ignoring. Don't let him know, otherwise he'll get a little bit offended by that. Oh, good. That was a good move. That was a very good move, because now I don't actually know what I want to do. You fired it from a very, very long range. How much power do I got on the forward shield? Maybe shouldn't have done that. At the very least, I should have shut this off. There was no reason to have that set, because now I've lost most of my phaser battery. You are traveling at a speed of 7.8, which means I can do things to you. Let's prepare a tractor beam. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get relatively close to him. Do not drop a mine. Pick up the pace. He's going to turn away from it. Oh, he probably turned a little bit too hard. I probably won't be able to get that. No. We're going to try and basically grab him with our tractor beam. So we're going to pop up here to up high, and they suffer from the same glitch as the Romulans, where if you pop up into the top view, it deactivates your tractor beam. And drop another one. What you going to do with that one, son? So pick up the pace a little bit so we can get out of the blast zone, but we're still going to be hit by it. That much is guaranteed. But what we are able to do is prepare all of our other weapon systems. So we're going to turn real hard. Hello! We're going to slow right on down. And we're going to fire every single weapon system that we have. That hurts us pretty considerably, actually, but it allowed us to get a free and easy shot in on the enemy. Marines, can you blow that up? I don't know if you can transport over. Nope. I was kind of hoping that the transporters would still work because we'd have them tractor beams. Or maybe I'm being blocked. It's not quite clear. According to this screen, I am indeed being blocked. So how much power do you got for free, buddy? Because I'm going to see if I can't overpower you. How much power do I have in the forward shield generator? 14.3 is not quite enough, but I can slow that down a little bit more. Get a little bit more power into it, and the CA is finally starting to show up. He's coming out of cloak. He wants to fight. And there go our Marines, and this is going to hurt. Let's break the tractor beam. So I wasn't able to break that. But our shields came up just in time to cover from the phasers. Very dramatic. So we're going to continue to come around, get a little bit of repair going. We have managed to dent him pretty severely. He's taken quite a bit of systems damage. He does have a plasma torpedo ready to go on his starboard side, but he is turning to port, and maybe he will end up dumping that on this guy over here. And it kind of looks like he's reassessing his options. We want to start picking up speed, but we don't want him to be able to launch any more of those, and we are now staring him right in the face of that plasma torpedo, so I'm going to see if I can't book it. Let's go full powered engines, drop a mine here, see if I can't force him to the outside on this turn. And you can take one of these. And by one of these, I mean I need both of these. Come on, get the other one out, get the other one around. There we go. There's his crash stop. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is going to basically kick it up to maximum speed, and I'll let these two fight for a little bit. because I can get away while they're sort of messing around with things. He has a whole bunch of missiles and a pretty significant phaser armament if I do if I do note that, and it is pretty good, and we're still going to be within range. Okay, we've pulled outside of range of his most effective ability to use phasers, so that saves us. Lovely. Plasma torpedoes are not charging. How are they working here? I think they're uncharging, actually. Gotta wait for this to tick, see what ends up happening. Yeah, they're uncharging. Let's slow down a little bit now that we've built out the range. And I also think I want to buff it up to 4 points of electronic countermeasure. That'll give us, or just normal electronic countermeasure, that'll give us a defense shift of 2, which is pretty significant. And he's gone back into cloak. So, being rather intelligent. And he's going to take that plasma torpedo without much recourse. Now, his firepower, the Orion heavy cruisers, is not all that significant. I'm not really impressed or concerned by it. The missile launchers, he's only got 4 of them. They're ARACs. So they have short magazines. They don't have a whole heck of a lot of shots in them. And they will be filled full of slow missiles, which are not really a threat to us since we can maintain a speed of above 16 even while charging all weapon systems. So we're basically going to come around. We're going to systematically just pound him, I think. Although we could go in and just try and knock this guy out. I'm a little bit irritated that my Marines didn't do the job that I wanted them to do. See if we can't get the port side battery on, because we're going to be turning around him. And we can only fire these one at a time. If we attempt to fire both, he will probably Wild Weasel. Alright, we're going to come around. Let this build out time. It'll go in, it'll hit, it'll do wonderful damage. Second one away. Phasers into the hole. And an additional 37 damage. We've already started damaging his systems. Oh, he has medium missiles. Ooh, since when? I didn't even realize that was an option. Okay. We're just going to build up the distance again, wait for our plasma torpedoes to come back. We're going to pretend that we're Romulans without the cloaking device. So I will just basically burn these missiles dry. They can travel at a speed of 24. They're the most common missiles that we use during our Mirak campaign because they're relatively cheap, but at the same time, they're also quick enough to do what you want to do. And add even more to that you can stack these things up indefinitely. Now, there are 3 versions of the missile. There's a speed 16, a speed 24, and a speed 32, the slow, medium, and fast missiles. And the mediums, they're relatively cheap. The fast missiles traveling at a speed of 32, well, the maximum speed a starship can get to in this game is a speed of 31. Although I hear that X-ships are supposed to go faster in tabletop version of this in Starfleet battles, which would be really cool if we actually had that capability to have X-ships go at like speeds of 36. But at that point, you're moving within impulses. There's reasons why there's a speed limit of 31 and 32 in this game. Well, the plasma torpedoes move at a speed of 36, so what do I know? But yeah, so because they travel at a speed of 32 and you can't get a ship up to that fast speed, it ends up being a situation where, yeah, you can try and stack salvos, but they're always going to be spaced a little bit apart. It's only one tick, so a distance of 1. But if you're trying to just get as much firepower into as concentrated an area as possible, it becomes a little bit more hassle than it's worth. You certainly can't just rob point defenses of any chance of ever shooting back if you use the fast missile. Simply because you're not going to be able to get that super tight spread. Missiles going out on the Romulan. I expect him to crash stop, but he may just shoot them all down. He does have enough phasers to do the job. Yep. Did burn a lot of his power. He's probably going pretty fast. Probably going with a lot of, well, we know he's going fast. Probably has his plasma torpedoes, at least one of them, ready to go. So I would like to engage him. Kind of take a little bit of damage from him, but he probably used most of engagement. Lob a plasma torpedo his way. See how he enjoys that. And I'm kind of tempted to pick up the pace even more. And getting 16 damage on through. A little bit of light phaser fire to open him up even more. I'm going to actually reverse this turn now. Yeah, it kind of sucks because we'll be revealing our shield towards even more enemies. And this guy has disruptors, which makes him great at skirmishing. Oh, please, and thank you, sir. Okay, that works out. A distance of 10. We are within range. Not you, but you. Yes, we're sort of spreading our damage and weapons fire out on this one, as we must do. Plasma duels are incredibly decisive when they get to the final crunch. But while you're working on getting there, it can be a very intricate dance. Trying to hold the range wide, trying not to get yourself involved in too much too soon. Because the moment you fully commit on a plasma duel, you better make sure you know exactly what you're doing, because otherwise you're just going to get mobbed by return fire. So that was actually one of the reasons why it was so great that he ended up shooting his plasma torpedo into Needle's damage, because we can basically bully Needle's damage. As long as he's cloaking and trying to hide, I don't have to worry about any sort of incoming fire. Needle's damage, on the other hand, sort of complicates that a bit, because now I've got another ship in the mix to have to worry about. So the Romulans being passive actually, it stratifies the fight to a rather severe degree when they're using their cloak, as the AI likes to do. So I know for a fact that he's not going to be able to engage me, and he will not come out of cloak to engage me until he has a plasma torpedo ready. So until that time, until he starts to decloak, I don't care what he does. He's basically a non-factor, because he can't shoot at me. I can't really hit him with any of my good weapons. So as long as I just keep the speed up so that I'm in a position to disengage the moment he tries to actually do something, then all is fine. In fact, I'm really tempted to just come in here and drop a mine on him, as he's doing as well. So here's a gift, just for you. And we're going to come around in here and basically attack Needle's damage again. Get some damage on through, pick up the pace a little bit, make sure that he can't catch up. He's down to a speed of 4.5, so he's clearly not having a very good day. And he hit the mine. He doesn't really have much in the way of shielding, so full power because he's coming on a cloak, and he's probably got plasma torpedoes already. I didn't actually bother to check, and I probably should have. We're just going to stay at light skirmishing range at this point, and at speed, which is a bit odd for a Gorn vessel. You kind of expect Gorn ships, they're very large, very solid and reliable. They're the tanks of the universe, very heavily armored, but not particularly nimble or maneuverable. We can be outmaneuvered, quite frankly, by Klingon light cruisers in our frigates. So not exactly the best ship ever in terms of trying to dance with somebody. In terms of just trying to sort of survive a firefight, take a ton of damage, the Gorn do it better than everybody else. Their armor is just much thicker and more capable than the other factions. But they lack a lot of imagination. There's not a whole lot of tricks to playing Gorn. No more than you'd play with any other sort of plasma race. It's just a very straightforward, okay, get into phaser range, fire your phasers, pull out of range, get back into range, fire plasma torpedoes and phasers, get out of range. There's no slipping into cloak, getting specific angles on people, no salvo stacking, no dancing at maximum range like the Federation will with their photon torpedoes. It's a very straightforward, solid, sort of reliable fighting style, which pretty much describes the Gorn to a T. So as we pass on through, we'll be able to get a couple of over-the-shoulder shots. Won't be for a particularly large amount of damage, but he doesn't have much of a ship left. In fact, his disruptors aren't even charging, which is more than a little amusing. The Romulans are just zipping along at a fairly high speed, but he's not committing into a battle, and I'm not quite sure why. He probably has both of his plasma torpedoes ready to go, and the fact that I'm not using them very much hints that I don't. And we did bleed that dry. And we're just going to slip around these mines and hopefully not touch them. And then we'll come back around. I believe a single burst of phaser fire can probably break Needle's damage before we come in after him. Okay, if that was your shot right there, you've just fired from a distance of 15. I have more than enough speed and ability to just get away from you without any cares in the world. So we're just going to do that, let it burn down as we'll come in a nice wide loop. These plasma torpedoes will never make it, and if they do make it, which they're not going to, they'd be at such low damage anyway that it wouldn't really matter, just sort of bounce off our shields. Starboard side plasma torpedoes ready to go, with the port side plasma torpedo lagging behind a little bit, but that's because we're kind of pushing the engines a little bit harder, not emphasizing our weapons all that much. Actually reduce speed to make sure that that plasma torpedo can actually get some charge going on here. And I'll buff up the forward port shield because I'm probably going to be passing him on that side. I'd rather not use the plasma torpedo here because the plasma torpedo is a very, very powerful weapon that takes forever to get ready again. So if I can just do this in a phaser barrage alone, I would be a very happy camper. Although I kind of doubt that's going to be possible. No, it's going to take at least one more volley of heavy phaser fire. So let's increase the speed of time. We know he's in cloak and we know we've got time. So we're going to just take a couple of moments here. Come back around. We'll finish him off with our phasers. It won't be all that difficult, I don't anticipate. And also listen out for him coming out of cloak, because he's quite dangerous if he gets an easy shot off on us. There we go. Okay, so we've removed our little buddy from the fight full power. And we'll just sprint on away, because he's not going to be able to catch us. How many mines do we have left? 4 mines. Okay, so we can actually make use of them. He is traveling at a speed high enough to be tractor beamed and mined. So we're going to start charging up the tractor beam, and then we're going to go into the F1 screen, so that we can actually sort of time this bombing, because that's exactly what we need to do. The bomb right there, it's going to pull him in tight. Another mine right there. Start to slow down. Hi, I got you, buddy. Ooh, probably should have waited for that turn a little bit. We took some of that damage on through for no reason. Turning to present the other plasma torpedo, and we got him. So we've done a pretty decent number on him. So dented most of his power systems. Now we just got to wait. We'll slow down. We can slow way down at this moment. We are free and clear at the moment. Actually, if I can not nuke his tractor beam, that'd be great. I mean, he's not going to decloak and let me do that. He is going to force me to have to blast him into little tiny pieces. So that's a bit unfortunate. Also is the damage that we took. There was no reason for us to have to take that. Arius Cygnus is his name. 2 more phasers. And we're going to prepare, and we're going to break off. And the reason why we're breaking off is because he has a plasma torpedo ready to go, although we are facing that plasma torpedo side. Okay, so we knocked out one of his plasma torpedoes, but not the other. Ah, I didn't do it in time. My reaction time was very slow, and I did not drop that Wild Weasel in time. Although we do, at this moment, have the defense ships of the shuttle still going for us, so as long as I stay beneath the speed of 4, we should be fine. So just going to wait for things to come back around, because I want to shoot down basically his open shield. He's lost his shuttle base, so he doesn't have a Wild Weasel available. I shouldn't be shooting. Why would I bother? There's no reason to bother shooting at this moment, because he's in cloak. Although, I can just shoot through this open shield. Ah, I came up just in time. Timing, my friend, timing. Okay, so what I wanted to do... Drop another tractor beam. Actually, no, I don't, because he's going to have another plasma torpedo ready to go very shortly. So we're going to pick up the pace. We're going to get out of here. How much power do I currently have? I have a 100% chance. He did what I was about to do, but then he didn't do it. Got him. So we've knocked out his plasma torpedoes. At this moment, he has just become mostly helpless. We will fix everything because we've taken a lot of damage in this fight. Probably more damage than we anticipated. Although, at the end of the day, it was 2 heavy cruisers against a single command cruiser. So, not the worst battle we've ever fought. But we've got him basically on the ropes. Actually, if I wanted to steal you, how many Marines you got? 2? I gotta knock down your shields. Weapons officer, we don't want to actually kill him, we just want to steal him. So get ready with the Marines. And shields open. Go, Marines. There we go. There's nothing left of that ship. We've managed to blast out all the plasma torpedoes, the phasers, and pretty much everything. There's still a transporter and electronic countermeasure system on that ship, and that's about it. But yeah, that plasma torpedo blast was something that really should have been avoided. I should have been a little bit faster on the hotkey. You hit W for a Wild Weasel, and I didn't think of it until the plasma torpedo was pretty much about to hit me. I just thought I was screwed, and I was like, wait a second, no, you prepared for this, and we were not prepared with reaction time. Which just goes to show, it doesn't matter what sort of equipment you bring to the fight, if you're not ready to use it, then what was the point? Alright, so we've managed to capture our target. The Arius Cygnus will now belong to the Gorn Confederation. I was about to say Star Empire, but no, we're not. We're a Confederation. I believe there's 2 or 3 Gorn planets that are homeworlds on this one. So, different types of Gorn, apparently. And 502, that'll pay for the repairs at the very least, and we take a tile. We do, of course, need to find a starbase there as one. Supply, repair the 28. This is gonna... The fact that we have to fight at close range with our enemy is going to make this campaign a lot more difficult than the Mirak campaign was in terms of sort of traveling to the other end of the galaxy. I'm actually a little bit concerned about how we're going to pull it off, but we're going to give it our best shot. Convoy escort or salvage? No, thank you. Salvage would be worthless. Really should not do this. Convoy raid or shipyard assault? We'll do the convoy raid. We've got a minute and a half. Any shipyard assault would take at least 5, although probably longer. If we can do the convoy raid really quick, though, we might be able to get something interesting done. Alright, so a whole bunch of light ships, and then we are friends with the Red Joker, who is packing an absolute metric ton of phasers. Look at all that. He's got, what, 2, 4, 6... Yeah, 6 phaser 1s, 4 phaser 3s, and 4 missile launchers. That's not bad. That really isn't bad. And we're looking at freighters... A couple of armored freighters, and there is a single Romulan heavy yeah, this is a King Eagle, aren't you? Oh, War Eagle, sorry. So he's not actually much of a heavy cruiser. You can actually take a War Eagle on pretty easily in a frigate. They're rather underwhelming vessels. They are pre-warp flight design. The Romulans actually took quite some time. They're one of the newer races to actually get onto the galactic battlefield in terms of actually having faster than light travel, which sets them in a rather odd position to have to deal with everybody else. And so a lot of their ships, especially in the early era, are basically sublight designs that were retrofitted to be warp capable, and that's exactly what War Eagles are. He's got a single R-type plasma torpedo and 4 phaser 1s, which means he's got a lot of firepower, but it's very concentrated, and he's got one shot with it. So you've got a single pseudo torpedo that can only charge every few. Oh, and his plasma torpedo isn't even ready. Yeah, that's the other problem that Romulan ships have. They have, especially in the early era, they have really terrible power generation. They just cannot handle trying to build up enough power in order to sort of sustain that heavy plasma torpedo, while at the same time attempting to use their other weapons as well as speed to their advantage, and the cloaking device on top of all that. So Romulan ships really kind of suffer early era, although if you can get good angles, you can make some pretty amazing things happen as the Romulans. So we're going to increase the speed of time, since we're just coming in here. Oh, are you a Q ship? Yes, you must be, because you've turned around to fight me. So the Onus, we're just going to basically avoid him. We're going to go, ooh, multiple Q ships. How many ships are actually in the convoy? That's the real question. So we're just going to go around them, ignore them for now, and we'll just bombard the freighters. I'm going to take this opportunity to go a little bit of electronic countermeasure. That way I'm somewhat defended for what's about to happen. And yeah, so you're a Q ship. We've got 2 Q ships that we got to deal with, as well as the War Eagle. So this is actually a fairly decently well-defended convoy. They've got that going for them. Plasma torpedo. I didn't think you would respond to it. I was hopeful. So that worked out. Come back around. Other plasma torpedo. Come on, other plasma torpedo. Don't get too close to this thing. Ooh, that was rough. We got relic. Oh. I should not be playing this at maximum speed. They have a lot of terrifying firepower that I'm about to get hit by. Because the other one's... actually, no, the other one is way off. Okay, that's interesting. So he's just fired his plasma torpedo, which means he's basically worthless at this point. I mean, he's got some phasers, which are going to hurt, but nothing to stop us. And in fact, I will probably just end up going with a Marine run through here. So we'll knock out his defenses using our Marines, or using our phasers, and then send in the Marines. So we've got another emergency decoy shuttle all ready to go, should the worst happen. And... did I not send? I didn't send. Oh, of course I didn't. Of course I didn't. Let me guess, your shields are gonna... you know what? There we go. Alright, on to the last one. So once we kill these ones, that's all we actually need to do. The 3 escort vessels we can ignore. So most of this convoy was actually not something we had to give any caring about. Let's pop a plasma torpedo. Pop a plasma torpedo. And phasers. Okay. So you're dead. And it looks like our buddy is getting into a duel with the Q ships quite heavily. And how's he doing? Red Joker is taking a little bit of damage, but he's still alive. I'm assuming the War Eagle is just hiding. There you go. Prime Trader has disappeared because the crew would rather die than, you know, give up their cargo for reasons I have yet to discover. Probe. Yes, plasma torpedoes ready to go. So pick up the speed, full power. We're gonna keep the distance on this one because he's got plasma torpedoes, which will hurt a lot. So what we can do, actually, if we really want to kind of play this one the way it's sort of supposed to be done, is we're going to hang out at range, and we're going to come in at him, and then we're going to, wait for it, plasma, and then pull away. And he'll take the damage, and there's not much he can do about it. And then plasma, away. And he'll take that on another shield. Oh, this forward shield actually held on that one. Pretty impressed. Light phaser fire sort of plinking away at us, but we don't want to take any hits from those plasma torpedoes because that would suck. Actually, I think those plasma torpedoes only shoot backwards, right? So, actually, what we should be doing is just jousting with him. Because as long as we stay from his rear arc, we're fine. Are you seriously just sort of running around in circles? Well, so are we. So, let's just set up a reinforce all. I don't want to have to actually worry about this. Plasma torpedo. And then another plasma torpedo ready to go. Alright, out the starboard side, because we've got ridiculous arcs on our plasmas. Starting to take some serious damage onto him. He's down to 8 crew member. Down to 6 crew members. We sort of just bully him into submission. All we gotta do is stay away from his rear arc and we'll be fine. And it looks like the Red Joker has managed to kill the 1 Q ship. So, who are we to not be able to accomplish the same? Get the distance, because we don't want to take any plasma torpedo shots, and we'll just keep the long-range blinking going while we wait for a plasma torpedo to be ready. And we almost have one ready. Gotta watch out for the asteroid over here. We don't actually want to hit it. Plasma your way. The extended range working in our favor. Got the 12 damage on through. He's almost crippled. We're going to pull away. Oh, he's got no more plasma torpedoes. Lovely. Plasma torpedo. Phasers. Good. Okay. So we have annihilated our Q-ship. He's annihilated his Q-ship. We've also wiped out every single one of the convoy units. So it's now just the War Eagle, the Imanis. So we'll just drive right up on top of him and nuke him with as much fire as we've got. He is trying to recharge his plasma torpedo, which is a good idea on his part, because he needs it. I'll pop up top. That'll reset the holding beam for reasons I do not understand. This was the thing, by the way, that was kicking our butt throughout most of the Romulan campaign. We would try and hit the Romulans with a mine, so we'd go to F1, and that for some reason would reset the beam. But as long as you reset it once, you're fine. So it was more than a little irritating to have to deal with. Okay, so Marines, yeah, we have a plan, and the plan is to blow this up, and then blow this up, and then blow this up. So if you can do that, all I really need out of you. Mine. And I assume you're not going to be able to avoid it. No, you're not. Okay, start shooting him now. In fact, it might be a good idea to just hire you turn into him. Because we can. You're just taking no damage at all. There is an innate damage reduction that you get for being cloaked. It's kind of insane. So we'll just come back around. There we go. Nice, great damage on in there. So we have a little bit of time before his plasma torpedoes are ready. Now we're just going to sit here with phasers and keep shooting into him. And hopefully we'll knock out his tractor beam while we're doing it. Or, you know, his plasma torpedo. That'd be great, too. Yep, he's coming out of cloak. And we've knocked out his, most of his systems at this point. He has no more plasma torpedo. And I need to charge this up again, because I don't want him cloaking on me again. He doesn't have a shuttle blade anymore, so I can just lob plasmas at him to my heart's content. Alright, one more plasma torpedo ought to do it. And just to make sure, Marines, we're done. So the last of our plasma torpedoes, we should take him out without too much trouble. Just gotta wait for our phasers to get a good shot in. And the plasma torpedo, I believe, will finish him off. Yes. So, successful convoy assault. Quite heavily defended convoy. I wonder where they were moving at that point. Only 3 freighters, one of which was an armored freighter, escorted by 2 Q-ships. The grand total of plasma torpedoes in that fight was 5. 2 each on each of the Q-ships. That's 40 damage right there. So 40, 80, 130 damage in plasmas is what was on the table at the moment. So we've got an Empire defense down to 25. It'll be a lot more work before we can actually take it, but we're going to head back home. Just quickly resupply the vessel, because we're going to need it. And a shuttle. Yes, indeed. But that's going to do it for today's episode. I've been Mirak. If you like what you've been seeing, hit that like button and subscribe. If you want to receive a notification every time I list one of these videos, press that little bell icon, leave a comment, and I will see you all in the next episode.